Hello friends and welcome back to Wickedly Whimsy. Today I have another fun little easy project for you. So before we get started, make sure you head on over to my Patreon. I will put the link in the description of this video. But Patreon members this month, I am giving out a fun little vintage style DIY ornament as a digital. If you are a tiered member and get my digitals, you're able to download this digital and make this ornament along with me here today. So that's what we're going to be doing. I will put that link in the description of this video, so head on over there. I do also offer free membership, so you can also just become a free membership if you'd like to just kind of get an idea of what it's all about. But yeah, let's get started making this vintage style ornament. All right, so first of all, I want to mention that there's two digitals for this project. There's two separate ornaments here. So this one right here comes in one digital and this one right here comes in another. Now, what is included in the digital is a front and back of each one of the angels and a front and back of each one of the ornaments. So you'll have all of these to use together to make an entire, actually you'll be able to make two full ornaments. Now I'm using Fabrifix glue to glue these together before I get started. So I'm just going to glue my fronts to my backs on all of these ornaments, and then once that's done, I am going to actually laminate these. You don't have to laminate them, but I find that the color is going to last a little bit longer if they're laminated, so that's what I'm going to do next. So here you can see I'm just going to attach my front cover or my front angel to the back angel, and they are mirror images, so they should fit perfectly together. So now both ways this ornament will hang on the tree, you'll be able to have a nice image of the angel, front and back. So I'm gonna just go ahead and finish gluing all of these fronts and backs together, and then like I said, I'm going to pop them through my laminating machine and we'll cut them out and we'll go from there. So I have the front and backs glued together for each one of my little angels here. I have the blue angel and the pink angel, and then I have the ornaments for each one glued together, front and backs. So the greens go with the pink, and then the blue and pink and moon goes with the blue. And then what I'm going to do is I am just going to put these in a laminating sheet and run them through my laminator. So you don't have to do this step. I'm only doing this step because I feel like the lamination saves the color a little bit. I've found that with ornaments that I've made in the past, whenever I've printed them out, the ink tends to fade within a year or two, but if it's laminated, it lasts longer. Now, I also think that if you Mod Podged this with like a Mod Podge and let it dry, that would also save the color, so you could do that step as well. But for time purposes, I don't want to do that and let this, you know, have this take forever. I'm just going to throw these right through my laminator and just laminate them and cut them out. That way they'll be nice and sealed and we'll be able to use them right away. Okay, so I've got all of my images in here. This is the laminator that I have. I will walk you guys right over here. I have a bunch of stuff going on here on my island in my kitchen here. It's where I do most of my crafting. But I have a Bunsen laminator, and so I'm just gonna run this right through. Take that sheet and run it right through, and it will pick it up. Now this one is my second laminator. The first laminator I got kept getting the laminating sheets stuck on the inside and like wrapping them around the wheel. This one does not do that. This one actually is much better. It pulls it right through. Sometimes your edges do curl a little bit on these if there's nothing to laminate on the edges, but I'll run it through again one more time and it will take that little curl out of the edge. But this one has a mechanism in it so that way it won't wrap around the wheel on the inside and it won't get stuck. So I like this one much better. I will link this in the description of the video if you are looking for an inexpensive laminator. I use a laminator all the time. And again, I'm just going to flip it through and run it through the other side upside down, just to make sure that seal is nice and tight. All right, so I have both of my ornaments here cut out, laminated and cut out. And like I mentioned previously, the lamination is just going to keep the color and also make these a little bit sturdier, so when they're hanging on the tree, they're a little bit more substantial. Even though I did use a cardstock for these, I wanted them to feel a little bit thicker. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take some hole punches and I'm going to start punching some holes, so that way we'll be able to attach these to each other and make the actual ornaments. So I have a few different types of hole punches. I have a small hole punch, and I have as you can see here, this one has a really tiny little punch for it. And then I have a regular size hole punch that goes with my eyelet press. So I'll be using that one as well, because I am going to do an eyelet in each one of the tops of my ornaments. I have a set of eyelets here. I got these on Amazon. I will link these in the description below. So I like to use these in a lot of different crafting things, but we'll use those in just a bit. But I want to punch the holes here first. So I want to start out with my angels, and we're going to do a little bit larger of a hole right in the top of her head, because this is where we're going to attach our eyelet, and we're going to also be able to attach this to our tree hanger, which will hang on the tree. So we'll just pop a little hole right through the top of her head, and then we'll take a little eyelet and put a little eyelet in there and press it shut, just like this. So now, as you can see, I have my little eyelets in the top of my angel ornament. I'm going to do the same in the other one. I'll probably use a gold one for that and a silver one for this one, but I'm just going to press this tight with my eyelet press, just so that I have a nice little eyelet hoop. And again, like I said, going to do the same thing with this one, just as close to the top of the head that I can. I'll just make a little hole, put another little eyelet in there, and press that shut, so that way it will attach nicely to a hanger, so I can go ahead and hang this on my tree. So I'm kind of punching all of the holes first before I do anything else. I'm going to use my small hole press for the remainder of the ornaments, because I don't need anything large like the eyelet for the rest of these. If you don't have a small hole press, you can also use a little pin. So just stick a little pin through the tops of these little ornaments like this, and then just kind of open up that little hole, and that will work also. So you don't need to have a small hole press like I have. I'm going to use it because I have it, but you can make do with a pin or a needle. So I'm going to go ahead and just punch a couple more holes in the tops of each one of these ornaments. Some of them I'm going to punch on the top and the bottom. It depends on how you're going to put these together, and I'll show you a little later on in this video what I mean by that. But I'm going to punch the holes how I have decided to attach them, and then we'll go from there. All right, so our next step is to add some glitter, and I'm using Mod Podge and a fine tipped paintbrush, and we're just going to add a little bit of glitter to these ornaments. A lot of vintage ornaments had glitter, so I want to make sure that I am adding glitter to these. So like I said, we're going to use two different types of glitter. This one is an actual vintage glitter, and then this one's a more recent glitter. I think I got these at the Dollar Tree. I'll probably mix these together a little bit, and so I have that in silver. So this is the little packet that I got from Dollar Tree. That's how it comes. But I also have a gold vintage, like an authentic vintage glitter, and then I have the packet from Dollar Tree. So again, I'm gonna mix these together in little bowls, so that way I can kind of have a combination of fine and a little bit heavier grit glitter on each of these ornaments. All right, so as you can see, I've started doing some glitter. I'm kind of just tracing around where the original glitter was on the original images of each one of these angels. Now, these angels, I believe, were from Christmas cards, and they did have actual glitter on them. So I'm just kind of going around some of the edging with my fine tooth brush and some of the Mod Podge, and then we'll just go ahead and sprinkle some glitter on there. And I do have a little spoon that I use. I find using a little spoon or a little scoop like I have when I'm doing my glitter is really helpful. So I'll just put a little bit of glitter in some bowls and then take one of these little spoons and we'll apply that glitter with the little spoon just to get a little bit more precise detail glittering. So here we go, just taking a little bit of that glitter, shaking it right on my Mod Podge, and then I'm just gonna tap off the back and tap the remaining glitter off that doesn't stick. And so there we go. Now we have a cute little glittered image. So I'm gonna do some on the wings and some around the book edges, and then I'm also gonna do a little bit of glittering on the remainder of the ornaments as well. So I've finished up my glittering and I've gone ahead and put one of these ornaments completely together just so that I can show you what it's going to look like when it's done. I'm going to show you how I did this with the next ornament. But for this one, there's two different options, or I should say with these ornaments, there's two different options on how you can hang the little ornaments to the angel. I've used these little jump rings. Now I have silver and gold, but I happen to use silver for this particular one. And they're probably about 1/4 of an inch jump ring. So I actually attached a jump ring right to 3 holes that I punched in the bottom of the angel dress. As you can see, I have 3 different holes. So I put a jump ring in each hole, and then I also added a jump ring to each one of the ornaments and then attached both jump rings together. So now I have 3 little dangling ornaments hanging off the bottom of my angel. So this is just one way that you can do this ornament. I'm going to show you the second way with the pink angel. Now, because we did gold glittering, we'll use gold pieces for this one. I have the same size gold jump rings, and again, I'm going to do the same thing. However, I'm not going to punch 3 holes on this one. I'm only going to punch 1 hole, and it's going to be a little bit longer of a dangle. So let's just go ahead and quickly punch our hole in the bottom of our dress. We'll take our little jump ring, open it up. Some of these jump rings are easy to open, so I can do this one with my finger. However, if you can't do it with your finger, you can use a little small jewelry pliers, which I do have some if I need them, but these ones, like I said, are pretty easy. But these are my little jewelry pliers that I use if it's a tough jump ring to open and close. All right, so now what I'm going to do is attach a jump ring to the top of my first ornament that I'm going to use here. So as you can see, I'm just going to stick that little jump ring in the hole, and then I'll attach that jump ring to the jump ring on the dress and close it up. And then we have one little dangle like this. So that's basically how I did the other ornament. But for this one, I want to do a little bit longer of an ornament. So I'm going to actually add a couple more jump rings and make it kind of like a long dangle. So as you can see, I'm going to put the star underneath this green ornament. Again, take another little jump ring. Now for this one, I'm just going to use 1 in between. I'm not using 2. So we'll attach this to the bottom of our ornament, and then we'll attach the tip of our star to that same jump ring, and then just close it up carefully. And then you'll see I have like a 3-layer, and you can go even further and make 1 more, which I'm going to do. I'm going to take my final little ornament, and just like I did, I'm going to attach another jump ring right to that ornament. Let's just open it up, attach it to the bottom of my star, and then attach it to my last ornament, and then close it up. And now I have a nice long dangling ornament. As you can see, I can't really get it in the shot very well because it's kind of long, but there's 2 different ways that you can put the ornaments together, and I think both of them are really, really pretty. So let's show you what they look like on my tree. Oh, quickly, let me just show you the little hangers that I'm using. I found these thrifting. There was just a baggie of them, so I thought they'd be perfect for my own ornaments. So this one just has a little hook in it. I'm just hooking it through the top and hanging it on the tree just like that. So let's head on over to my tree and we'll show you what they look like there. So here they are hanging on my tree. I think these are so cute. I love them. They're easy to make. Honestly, you just need to print them out. Print them out, laminate them if you want, or use some Mod Podge to seal the color, add a little bit of glitter, and you could do a whole bunch of these. And these would make cute little gifts also. And they're just so retro vintage looking. I just think these came out really cute. I'm actually gonna switch this one. It doesn't hang too well on this branch, so I'm gonna move it down a little bit, which I'm doing right now in the video. But now here is a little bit better of a view of that long hanging ornament. They are just so cute. I have a lot of handmade vintage style ornaments on my tree this year. But this is the little shorter one, which again is still just as cute. So I hope you guys enjoyed this DIY video. Again, make sure you head on over to my Patreon, become a member. If you'd like to get my digitals, become a tiered member. And also make sure you give this video a big thumbs up. We'll see you again in the next video. Hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Take care.